today's video, I am going to be breaking down Cameron Boozer and how he shoots the basketball. He is one of the top high school prospects in the United States, so let's get down and let's check him out and see how he shoots the ball, because we can all learn how to shoot the basketball better from watching really good basketball players. Really quickly, if you want to be able to shoot the ball from further away, make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below. And if you like the idea of me writing on top of this video, the app is called Coacheseye, and that is also down in the description as well. Okay, so in this first clip, we're getting a really good view of behind Cameron Boozer and how he shoots the ball. A couple of things that I do notice is that his feet are kind of close together, but they are at least shoulder width apart, which is something that we look for. Something else that I look for is knees over toes, and these are pretty well over his toes as well. So kind of a balanced shot. However, I do notice that his shoulders are slightly back further, more over top of his heels, which is kind of interesting. Usually you get less power if this is the case. While he's going up into his shot, nice energy transfer, knees are straightening out, hip is straightening out, so that now his body is going straight up and down, which is exactly what we are looking for. His hand is nice and spread apart and doesn't look, at least from this angle and many other angles, that he gets a lot of space between his palm and the ball. That's a massive myth, at least old school myth, where they want just the fingertips on the ball. If you get your palm, you're going to get a little bit more backwards rotation. He has a nice soft release, zero thumb flick. He removes that guide hand right away and he keeps it up. One of the biggest mistakes that we see with younger players is they drop this guide hand and this hand stays up. That usually messes up your shot. Or a lot of younger players will have their arm trail out left or right. Cameron Boozer is able to keep his arm straight up, elbow above the forehead, which is exactly what you want to see. And he's got some pretty darn good rotation on that shot too. One thing I really do like to see is how he's able to pull up to a 1-2 stop. So in this case, it's a left-right stop, and his right foot is behind his left foot. This is actually quite interesting, because what will normally happen to a younger player is it will force that ball out towards the right side, or a player will overcompensate to the left. This is not what we see, but really quickly, while I have it frozen on this frame, we can see that he has a pointer and middle finger release, which is generally what you want to see. And that pointer finger being down the middle of the ball, the middle finger being just to the right. This is fantastic hand placement, and yet again, zero thumb flick. But going back to the footwork itself, this is very important, because what you want to do is we want to try and kick out that right foot so that you can get your shoulder and elbow in line. This is not a type of shot that's going to be something that you can pull off in game without practicing. You need to know how much of a leg kick you need. You need to be able to learn how to get your shoulder and elbow in line with the rim, having that ball over top of that upper arm, which generally creates what I call the shooting triangle. As long as the ball, shoulder, and elbow are in line with the rim, this should be an absolutely straight shot. And that's exactly what we see. And if we actually look at the rotation, that's 1 and 2 full rotations to get to that rim. It's about 2 1/4 rotations, which is exactly what you want to see. Generally, anything above 2 1/2 or better is going to allow you to have a nice soft landing on that rim. So for example, if that ball was to hit the rim and there was a lot of backspin, if the ball was traveling at a great distance, for example, a 3-point shot, it's going to hit that rim a lot softer. Now, coming from a side angle, this is exactly what we want to see. At least from the catch coming from the right side, we can see that the shoulders and knees are over top of one another, and we can obviously assume that the knees are also above the toes. As we can see, shoulder, elbow, ball, all in line. Now, Cameron Boozer does tend to have a greater than 90-degree angle, or technically less than 90-degree angle on his elbow. A lot of old school coaches will say you need a 90-degree angle on your shot. And while this may allow you to have a faster release, this is not always ideal. In this case, we're getting less angle on that elbow, which to me, in my opinion, doesn't matter. As long as you have a straight release, soft release as well, and getting your elbow at your forehead or higher will generally allow you to have a good shot. What you want to do though is to be able to get your lower back into that shot. By getting your lower back into that shot, by having your shoulders over your knees, over your toes, what that is going to do for you is to have essentially more power. This is something that allows Steph Curry to have a really deep shot without jumping very high. A lot of the power comes from the lower back. Deadlifts and things like that will help you here. And if we actually look at this shot and when it drops down on towards the rim, what we can see is something that's very interesting. It has quite a high drop. Now, this could be potentially just from the angle that it's being recorded, but you generally want your descent to be somewhere between 41-ish to about 44, maybe 45 degrees. Why you want to have that 40 degree coming down to the rim is because if this ball drops at a high angle, if it hits the rim, there's a very high likelihood that it'll bounce out. This is due to gravity, while a shallow shot is going to have the rim look very small. By having this ball drop at roughly around a 40-ish degree, 44, 42 degree angle, is going to not have too much gravity pressure to be able to have it bounce out. It'll allow the back spin on the ball to have greater effect, and it's not coming in at such a low angle where the rim looks really small. I hope that these tips help you become a better shooter in basketball. If it does, hit that like button and make sure to also check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below. If you want to be able to shoot the ball from further away, that will definitely help. Anyways, I will see you guys again in my next video.